Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
50,000.
50,000 for Bob Nalbandian to be here in the CMS studio in person.
And that's my lowball price, boys and girls.
50 to 65 is the range.
That is correct. And I'm worth every damn penny.
You're damn right. Esteemed director of the whole metal series. Inside Metal.
Sorry to interrupt your classic rock trivia here, but I was going to head out in a bit, so figure I'd give you a call before I bail out of here.
All right, Bob. Well, we're always happy to have you on the show, even though you're interrupting a compelling segment.
Yeah, very compelling, talking about America and the Guess Who and Blood, Sweat, and Tears on the Classic Metal Show. I'm sure your fans are loving it.
Well, tough shit for them. We like it.
The demand, and it's not surprising to me, a lot of the prices you say. Like I said, a lot of these bands, especially the bands from the 60s and the 70s, their audience has money. They're a very well-to-do fan base. So for them to pay $80 a ticket, especially at a casino, casinos will pay those prices easily. So
Sure.
seeing the prices, they sound pretty on the money to me.
Mm. So, Bob, where would like a Burton Cummings play in L.A.?
Burton Cummings in L.A. I don't know where. Maybe the Pantages, or one of the casinos out on the outskirts of L.A. Maybe, but who knows? I mean, or he would do a package, like a package bill with some of those other 70s guys, like a Three Dog Night kind of, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you could hook up with Chuck Negron.
There you go, and they could both have exploding cock.
Right.
Exactly. Hey, I'm going to fix that link. I don't know what the deal is with that link, Neely, but I'll get that fixed and get it to you tomorrow, so you'll be able to check that out. But
all right. Well, what's on the slate for Bob Nalbandian? I see that you sent us a rundown of what 2018 has in store for all the music and metal fans and the releases that are tentatively coming out. So what's happening?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to let you know, because we got the first Rise of LA thrash metal came out a couple weeks ago, and we're still getting it situated on some of the streaming channels, and then the part 2, which I was hoping you would get. Like I said, I'll get you the new link. That'll be coming out in April 6th, and then we will have the Band vs. Brand, which will feature the almighty Neely in it, and of course the second or the next Inside Metal, which will be on the Bay Area metal scene, which will have both you guys in it. So those will be coming out a little bit later in the year. 2018 is going to be a full year for sure.
Now, Bob, without getting into any real, numbers here, but are these metal series paying off? Is the time and money that's been invested, is it being profitable for the group? What is it? Hard rock group? Or metal rock group?
The metal rock?
The
company.
I mean, it's not I'll put it this way, it's not my main job, but it keeps me going, and movies like this, they're not going to be big sellers. What's funny is Axis was just showing the first movie, and they haven't shown any of the other movies. They've only shown the Pioneers of LA Hard Rock and Metal, and they showed it back to back tonight. In fact, I think it's still playing right now. So if we could get on more of those channels, but I don't think there's a lot of those channels around since VH1 Classic and some of the others. So yeah, I mean, with the streaming and all that, it does all right. It's kind of an ongoing thing, so it keeps generating income. People that watch it or get picked up, and we're looking into licensing it to some overseas shows as well. So, it's keeps it going. As soon as I get a few more under my belt, I think it'll be much more profitable. So,
are you finding that with the release of more of them, Bob, that the older ones are starting to sell as well? Because I know for me with the books, like the Motley book has done really well, and it's rejuvenated sales of the other three. I'm selling the other three again, which, was unexpected, but is good. Is it the same way with video where people are, doing views and purchasing again the older ones?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really get the statements, that all goes to Warren, but, they come like every 6 months or, 4 to 6 months. So you don't really know, immediately, but I know it's definitely the case. It has attracted a lot of attention, and even with this Inside Metal playing on Access, people will see, Inside Metal, and then they'll go to check out some of the other titles,
Okay.
or part 2 of the movie kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely helps.
No doubt. Now how does that?
And it's not the comic book, by the way.
How does it work? When, and you don't have to get into all the numbers, but I'm just curious. So if you sell it to Access, do they give you payment based on what they skew the numbers as being, or do they just say, okay, well, here's
a flat fee?
Here's a fee.
Yeah, they just do a flat fee, from what I understand. And what's interesting is, from what Warren tells me, they paid for the second movie too, I believe, but they haven't aired that yet. So I don't know if they're going to do something special to do that, but we're hoping they'll pick up, Rise of LA Thrash Metal. So, again, it has to work out with the distributor as well, which is MVD, and their marketplace. So, you never know. I'm surprised that they only play part 1 of the first movie. They played it back to back. I thought they would play part 1 and part 2, but they just played part 1. So, who knows how they work that out.
Well, maybe Eddie Trunk didn't have time to voice it yet.
Yes. Well, they didn't show any segments on this.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, actually, they did it on the original one. It was part of the Eddie Trunk reel to reel.
Of course it was.
They're doing it without Eddie's commentary.
Well, I discovered this Inside Metal series, and I brought it to Access Television, and I am going to be the first one to show you this.
Absolutely.
Bob doesn't want to comment on that.
Hey, he's promoted it, so I got no beef with Mr. Trunk.
No, I know. We're just fucking with you, dude.
He's promoted the series, and,
so, dude, let's talk about the important video that you have coming out. Let's talk Underbelly.
Sure.
We can finally talk about this, right?
That's what I was waiting for Chris to bring that up.
Can we finally talk about this?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Can we finally talk about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, as I told you, I don't really have a lot to talk about because I'm not directly involved. Basically, what that is a good buddy of mine who wanted to do a movie, a documentary on the porn business, and he put up the money, and I basically got the director, some friends of mine that I've known, and basically kind of produced it and put it together for him. So I wasn't directly involved, but it's basically a lot of interviews with the current state of the adult industry, a lot of interviews taken from the AVN award shows, and a lot of private interviews with a lot of the current top, I guess, adult film stars, you could say, and camming girls. That's a big thing now, where girls are making money, is doing private camming shows, and
Sure.
It's interesting. It's actually it's an educational documentary. It really shows how the business is turning, and how more and more girls in the industry are able to do things independently. Just like the music business, it's kind of going the same way, where girls don't need to sign with these agencies and other companies or managers, and they could basically do things their own way out of their own home and a lot of girls, that were, professional architects and whatever. They're now doing camming and making a hell of a lot more money doing that. So, that's basically what it's based on. But a lot of cool interviews. I mean, you obviously knew a lot of the girls that are in the film.
I did.
And my buddy, Corpsey, Robert Ryan from Girls and Corpses magazine directed it and did all the interviews. So I basically, got the team together, the producers, the editors, and we went through the footage. And the editors, Danny Shipman from Reality Check TV, edited it, did a great job, and boom, we're just going to get this out there. And again, I did it kind of as a favor to my buddy. He's got a adult store, Playtime for You, and it's kind of a way for him to promote his store. So, sure. I got him the distribution deal, and it should be coming out, I would think, probably midsummer.
All right. I'm going to tell you why I love this movie, maybe as the best movie that you've been involved in to date. I learned two distinct things from watching this movie, and I love this movie. I really, really, really love this movie, and not because it deals with porn stars necessarily, although I love porn, but I learned two things that were amazing to me. First thing was, no matter how good these girls look, to where you would think that the guys would make foolish mistakes with them, every single one of them had a story about how they got fucked over hard in the business. So no matter how hot they are, the guys are smarter, at least at the beginning. Every one of them started with, well, when I got in the business, I signed a bad contract and I was just getting fucked for peanuts. Every girl that you interviewed or that you had that story. And I loved that story.
I agree. And I think that's a thing to, let it be known as a part of the business. And again, as you say, a lot more girls have been keen to that. Just like really any business that you're new to, that you're naive about, any business you get into, you're going to get fucked over in the beginning, and you got to learn from that. And I think, when nowadays how things are turning where, you could do things independently. Bands could do things independently. You don't need that record deal. You don't need that publishing deal. You don't have MTV and all these other, things that you need to get on. You could do things yourself. And I think it's kind of turning that way in the adult industry. And, I love documentaries about, that you can learn from any kind of business. And it is interesting in that aspect as like you said, so many of these girls, they all say the same thing. They're getting, screwed over, and then, they're able to do other stuff in the business, whether it be camming or, it's just like promoting any business. They're going out to these conventions and award shows, promoting themselves like you would promote any other product, and it's just about getting name recognition, So yeah,
no doubt. And here's the other thing that I learned, dude, from the movie, is that no matter how hot they look, no matter how perfect the surgeon has done their tits, no matter what, not a single one of them has any self-esteem. Every single one of them, not everyone in the movie, but damn near everyone in the movie starts off with, do you think my tits look good? Do you think my face looks good? Do you think I'm pretty? Do you like my outfit? Every one of them. And I mean, some of them are like unreal hot, but none of them believe it. And for the life of me, I would think, for God's sakes, you're in porn.
You know what, though, dude? That a lot of it is part of the show, about a part of their whole doing, kind of the dumb. And a lot of strippers are like that too. The dumb stripper are the dumb. They like to get your input, and they like to hear you say, "Oh, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous." I mean, that's right. That's kind of their shtick, oh, do you like these tits? Oh, do you, of course they know they're hot, and they just want to hear it.
Right.
Well, I know that Neely's quite silent.
Well, I have not seen this thing, so I have no comment.
I love it.
I'll get you a copy, Neely. I thought I sent you a link to that as well, but I will send that to you. And it won't be a private link, so you can watch it okay.
All right.
I love it. It is I love the Inside Metal videos. Don't get me wrong. I really, truly enjoy them. But this thing about, I'll just tell the truth. There's quite a few documentaries on the porn business out there, and I hate all of them because there's a bunch of them on Netflix and on Amazon Prime.
After porn and yeah.
And they all suck because they all paint the picture of it's horrible. They all paint the picture of it's a tough life. You're getting beat up every time. You're sucking dick on the corner to make $25. They really make it this awful thing where your video is very up. It's very, some of the stories are like, wow, that fucking sucks. But the attitude was very up and energetic, which is very cool. It's a different vibe than just about anything else that's on the market today. And that's why I loved it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's kind of my, my goal with even the Inside Metal documentaries. All these documentaries, whether it be on the music scene or especially, like I say, the porn scene, they have an agenda, to make it look bad. Or, a lot of these rock documentaries have these agenda to bring everyone up and then the tragedy hits and this and that and to make it, so dramatic and this and that. And my whole thing, and this is when I spoke with Corpsey and the editors, it's like, let the girls tell their story. Whether it's positive, there's no agenda. They're not, right. It's not like you're going to lead off. Tell us some of the horror stories. Just let them talk. Let them talk let it be the actual truth. And I think that's what comes across with this. All the girls are happy. They enjoy what they do. And I think it's important, especially in these days now with all this Me Too movement. Hey, whatever, that's fine. But there's a lot of girls that like to fuck. There's a lot of girls that like to make money, that like the attention that guys give them. There is a lot of that. And, hey, that's their right to do it. If they want to do it and do it in a legal fashion and they enjoy it, who the fuck are you to say, don't do this or, oh, you're doing this movie or that you're, helping this industry. It's like, no, the girls are saying what they want to say. And I think that's the important thing, We when Corpsey interviewed these girls, there was, no pressure on them to say anything negative or positive. It was just like, hey, they're just talking very freely about the business, and I think that really comes across on this. So I'm glad you got that.
Cool.
All right, Bob. Well, when you wrap up the Inside Metal series, will you be planning the big the Vinnie Vincent story?
Dude, that's been told to death. It's like I don't understand these goddamn Kiss fanatics. I mean, fuck, what the fuck? I mean, all right, I get it. You love Kiss. But it's just all the stuff I've seen just on my Facebook posts about Vinnie Vincent and all that. I mean, granted, I enjoyed his. I actually think those are the two best Kiss albums he was on. Creatures of the Night, I think, was their greatest comeback. I was never a big Kiss fan, and in fact, first time I saw them was on the Creatures of the Night tour when Motley Crue opened for them, and that was when Kiss were like at their low peak, after The Elder and all that. But I thought that was a heavy album, and I think Vinny had a lot to do with it. And even Lick It Up, although I hate that title track, Lick It Up, but that had some pretty heavy songs on it. So, I agree. The guy had talent, and I remember interviewing him way back when he started the Vinnie Vincent invasion. And I'll tell you, he couldn't have been a different guy than the way he comes off in these interviews now. I mean, he was just this arrogant, I'm the best, I'm the fastest, I'm, this and that, I play sexy fucking music, my band's going to be the biggest band ever kind of thing. So, I could see why people were saying that about him back in the day.
Yeah, just ask Carmine Apiece and the Rockers.
I love that segment. That was hilarious. Carmine and the Rockers.
Carmine and the Rockers.
I wonder what their asking price would be.
I'm thinking $25,000 easily.
Oh, at least, dude. Come on, Carmine. You got Vinny, who hasn't played in over 20 years. He could do that cross-dressing thing on stage and all, and Carmine could do his drum twirls, and that alone is worth $50,000, huh?
Oh, nice.
Seriously though, Bob, you brought it up. When Vinny puts a band together and goes out on tour that first time, what's he going to command? I'm thinking $50,000.
No. I don't see, for one, I don't think he's going to do anything. It doesn't seem to me that he's even picked up his guitar in the last 20 years. He talks about writing music, doing this and that. To be honest, I don't see anything happening, and I really doubt he's going to do a comeback.
Really?
I honestly doubt it, yeah.
He just launched his Facebook page with complete with handwritten notes.
Wasn't that you that was saying on one of the earlier Classic Metal Show episodes that he was selling his name and likeness to people? Or was that a fault?
He definitely was, but I'll bet you I have a hunch, and I have no insider knowledge. Obviously, I'm not Eddie Trunk.
Yeah, you're not inside metal.
No, I'm not inside metal. I'm certainly not inside the Kiss camp. But I really think that he didn't think a lot of people would come out to this convention, and I think the feedback online, good or bad, his lawyer took note of and convinced him, like, hey, dude, you can put a couple $1,000,000 in your pocket for a year. And I'll bet he doesn't sell his shit now.
How am I doing, Chris? Am I doing okay? Do you guys enjoy this? Am I being honest? Who is that? That was Vinnie Vincent during his interview. Didn't you notice like 10 times he had to ask, talk about insecurity? How am I doing? Am I doing okay? Do you like this honesty I'm giving you? Yeah,
he is a scared little sissy. There's no question about that. But you can get over that. I mean, you know what? The dude has
problems. I get it. He's been out of the spotlight for 20 years, but making a comeback. I mean, here's another example, which is, and again, this goes about the demand. Why you say on the money demand? Why there was such a demand when Jakey Lee came out. Jakey Lee had almost been forgotten for like 20, 30 years or however long he left Badlands.
Yeah.
He makes that comeback. He got a band. He got the best hype you could get from, Eddie Trunk. Everyone was pushing him. He was on that metal show. He puts together this shitty band. I didn't see the band, but I heard the singer was just awful. His debut show at the Whiskey, which could have been his launching pad, the dude was fucked up, and everyone just said the show was just a disaster.
Right.
And that's the problem, is you do that. All these guys think just because there's this demand, I'm going to make this huge comeback. Another band that should have made a huge comeback was Anvil, with the attention they got after that movie. Are you kidding? They had so much attention. They got back together. Before they went on the road, they fired the rhythm guitar player, so they're touring as a fucking three-piece, which just doesn't cut it, because all their songs are, with two guitars. I mean, They were good, but you could definitely tell there was something missing. And their latter albums, they never did anything after the first three albums. I mean, Forge and Fire, I thought, was their tops. And, they did the comeback. There was a lot of hype at the beginning. Then after they lose the second guitar player, they're going as a three-piece. Then they lose the bassist, And I love Lips. I love the drummer, Rob. But, man, it takes more than just saying you're going to make a comeback to do it. You have to do it right. And that's the thing. And to be honest, I don't think, I saw Vinny do those jams and stuff. I don't think the guy's been playing or recording music for the past 20 years. I think he hadn't picked up his guitar in 20 years.
Yeah, we basically noticed that on the show. He said, I play 7 hours a day.
What? I'll tell you something about Vinny. From my interview I did, and that everyone that's ever talked to him, he is a constant bullshit artist. He's just a obsessive liar. I mean, that's just what I've heard from everyone. No disrespect to the guy. The guy's, obviously he's got his talent and stuff, but everyone I've ever talked to that knows him, and they just say, dude, you can't trust a single word that guy says. So who knows? But I think I just can't see him making a comeback, and just with that look he has, it's just, I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
You could be right. I don't know. I certainly think he's going to try. You don't think he's going to even try to?
If he's smart, I can't really see him doing it right. I don't really see him coming out and making. For one, there's not going to be a lot of money except doing live shows. Okay, He's
Sure.
going to have to get old, you know, and he hasn't played live in years, you know.
Right.
He's going to, for one, have to get a great band together. And from what I heard in the past from Mark Slaughter and every other person that's played with him, including Kiss, is he was the most difficult guy to get along with. So unless he's, you know, did a 360, which he seems to have become a lot more modest in this recent interview and whatnot, but you know, are people still going to be willing to work with him and to put up with him? And again, if he hasn't been rehearsing or doesn't have good tunes, it doesn't matter how big the hype is. You know, he might have one show where people will come out of curiosity, and if he blows it, you know, people are going to say, "Fuck this."
Yeah, no, I agree. If it was me, I would try and get him, Ace, and Kulik to do some kind of G3 type thing, you know, like a K3 type thing or something, and just do like all Kiss tunes, put together a strong like Kiss tribute band, and have each guy come out and do like 6 of their tunes, and then end with like a jam, you know, with like Rock and Roll All Night at the end of it or something. I think that would sell.
Sure. Well, you know, he's a damn good songwriter. He's written some great songs over the years. Sure. So, you know, yeah. there's you know, not to say he can't write, you know, he can still write great songs, and you know, but
yeah,
you know, I don't know. I you know, there was so much hype on him even back in the day when he got that deal with Chrysalis. He got a huge deal with Chrysalis, and I just thought that album was just a bag of shit, the Vinnie Vincent album. I mean, he was just like trying to be so over the top, like you know, you seen that video for what the Boys
Gonna Rock
track.
Boys Gonna Rock.
Boys are gonna rock. They have all the things falling, and he's smashing his guitar. It's like, dude, come on. I mean, it's like, you know, he's just purposely doing this overkill kind of thing, and that was always kind of his attitude, and it was just comical, I thought. Even back then, even back in the 80s, it was comical. So, I don't know. I just don't see how, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of those hardcore kind of Kiss fans, but, dude, everyone that went to that convention, that's going to be his fan base. You know, he doesn't have, I don't think he's going to be able to sell places in, you know, in 30 different markets, and you know, outside of a place no bigger than the Whiskey A Go-Go, you know, if that, to be honest. I don't think the demand's that big nationwide for him.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Dude, you say that, but at the same time, you look at the way the Kiss fans fawned over his coming back, and it's amazing how they just sucked his ass.
Yeah, again, I think all those fans that were there, they're going to go out of curiosity. If I was a Kiss fanatic like these guys, it would interest me too. You know, I mean, if you know, if Richie Blackmore was gone for 40 years and he came out of the woodwork, I would probably fly out to, you know, see him and see what he has to say. So, you know, I could see people doing that, but most the Kiss fans, I mean, you got the Kiss fanatics. Dude, even when Ace Frehley came out solo and stuff, I mean, Ace isn't playing really big places. And he's a hell of a lot more recognizable name than Vinny. And that's what I'm saying. The only interest Vinny has is the fact that he hasn't played in so long. And the only way he's going to keep it going is if he kills it, if he has a killer band and he's good, because I'll tell you, it'll be the first show people will go there out of curiosity. And if he sucks, it's over. You know, people are just going to go, oh, this is shit, you know. And so that's what it comes down. I mean, look at Jakey Lee. The poor guy, he came out, he was supposed to make this big, huge comeback. I haven't heard from him in several months. I don't even know if he's got Red Dragon Cartel still together or not, you know.
Well, they were recording. They were recording the second record. I know that because who's the bass player?
Anthony Esposito.
Yeah, told us that they were working on material, but well,
I hope he does. I love Jake.
Well, I love Jake too, but to be fair on that one, Jake let that band fall right to shit with the 15 different singers. I mean, he literally, quite literal number, had 10 singers in one tour. He was doing like singer come in for a week and then another singer for like 2 weeks, and it was embarrassing.
You think it's going to be any different from Vinnie Vincent? I think he'll have the same problem. Singers will start working with him for a few days, and then, for whatever reason, they'll say, I ain't working with this guy, and they'll leave. And, unless he gets a good, solid singer and a good, solid band, he's better off just becoming a songwriter. Or if he does get together with Kulick and Ace, but those guys, even the Kiss fanatics, because I knew Mark St. John really good. He was an Orange County guy. Knew him in the 80s when we had our studio. He used to come in with his band White Tiger. And they had a lot of hype. He was fresh out of Kiss, and they were a club band. They did a record on their own. They had a little bit of buzz for a while, and then they were just playing the Orange County clubs. They didn't go anywhere, and he played on a lot more albums than Vinnie Vincent did, I believe, and
Mark
a lot more
John?
popular albums. Yeah, didn't he do like 3 albums?
No, he only did the one.
He did Animalize. He did,
and that's it.
Is that it? See, I don't know Kiss. I thought he did like 3 albums.
No, he only did Animalize, which to me is my favorite Kiss album. I think either that or Asylum. But it shows I'm not a Kiss guy either.
So Kulick came in right after that?
Yeah, Kulick played on Asylum.
No shit. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
But still, he didn't. He a lot of people thought that he was going to make a huge comeback, and a lot of people thought that about Ace. I mean, Frehley's comic did good, but that was way back in the 80s. But
right.
He's been touring recently, and with all the hype on the Kiss fans, you would think Ace Frehley would be doing a lot bigger arenas and stuff, considering the Kiss fans.
Sure. No, you're right. I mean, who knows? I mean, I think unless they're painting on the makeup and have a big Kiss banner flickering in the background, it's just not going to sell.
Yeah, and just because you're an ex-member doesn't mean. I mean, look at Steve Harris, in Iron Maiden, one of the biggest bands in the world. His band British Lions, they do clubs. They do the Monsters of Rock tour, a boat. They're not going to do Maiden, even though he's probably the most identifiable guy in Maiden, writes most of their songs, the original member of Maiden, on his own. Again, it's all about branding, and without that Kiss brand, it's just, Vinnie Vincent or Bob Kulick or Bruce Kulick or, whoever.
Right.
And, what was another I think that was a great fucking album. I don't know if you heard the Phil Rudd solo album. Here's a guy from AC/DC, arguably the biggest rock band in the world. You would think just the fact that he's in AC/DC, the record would get some recognition. And it was a good fucking record. I heard the record. I go, fuck, this record rocks.
Right.
It had some pretty good, solid songs on it. But nobody cared. It didn't sell. He didn't, I think he tried to get a band. He was trying to tour. It's all about the branding. And without the Kiss brand, Vinnie Vincent will last, just out of curiosity for maybe, a few months or whatever, and then people are going to forget about him. Right. And I'm not saying that as a diss. I'm just saying that's just the reality. That's the way this business is now.
Who were we talking about? Oh, I totally forgot about him already.
the Phil Rudd. I just want to go back to the Phil.
From your pricing game here, the Price is Right.
Well, real quick with the Phil Rudd though. Phil Rudd shot himself in the foot. One, he called his album Head Job. And that automatically is like, I'm not buying any record called Head Job. I don't care who's playing on it. That's the first thing. And second, he had that little murder charge, which stopped him from promoting it.
Yeah, well, that's true. But still, I'm just saying, just the fact of the AC/DC name, because just like Kiss, there's AC/DC fanatics that'll buy anything AC/DC. You would think just off that name or that recognition from AC/DC. Same with Iron Maiden. You would have thought, Steve Harris's band would be a lot bigger just because it's Steve Harris, and he would have, you would figure even if 10% or 20% of Iron Maiden fans went to go see him, he could pack in, 7,000 seat venues. But he's not. you know. It's,
right.
It doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, I wish the best for Vinnie Vincent. Seriously, I think the guy. I think he did it right in coming out the way he did, and he seemed sincere. You know, we'll see if he could get it together. I just personally, I don't think the guy's been playing and writing songs, you know, and rehearsing 7 hours a day the last 20 years. You know, I don't personally see him making a comeback.
All right. Well, we'll keep note of that, and we'll see what happens in the future there, Bob.
Absolutely, Mr. Neely.
All right. So where are you heading out tonight, Bob? You going to go out and party? You going to bang out some chicks or anything?
Well, that's the plan as always, Neely. Come on, dude. You got to know that. I don't know. You know my buddy Alex. You met him at the NAMM show.
Right.
He's one of his friends, cool guy Marcus. He's having a party, and he's just a house party down the street. I think it's like his 50th birthday or something. So, you know, we'll see. It should be fun.
Hey.
Go there for a couple hours, have a few beers.
Yeah, it's just a hang, man.
Yeah. That's right. Hanging with the guys.
Exactly. All right, Bob. Well, we always appreciate the updates with your illustrious career, bringing us all the metal that you can handle. Too much metal for one hand.
Absolutely. And thank you, Chris, for bringing up the underbelly, because I know Paul will be stoked that you talked about it. If you want to have Robert, if you really want to get into deep conversation about that, like I said, I don't know. I wasn't involved in that movie, but if you want to talk to Robert about it, I'm sure he would love to come on, and you guys could chat porn all day long.
Tell him when it's close to release, we will absolutely have him on. And even if I do that one myself, I could talk for days about fucking porn.
He would love that, because he would do the same. Very cool.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, Bob.
Guys. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Hail and kill.
Fuck you, pal. And head job.
There he goes with the head job.
Head job making an appearance.
All right. All right. Do you want to continue, or you want to take a short break and then come back and resume?
Let's take a break, because I'm about to piss all over the floor.
All right. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I'm a fucking full pot of coffee in, so.
All right. Well, let me grab a tunage, and We'll take a short break. We'll come back. We'll resume the price game.
All right.
It's been fun because we got some more very recognizable names coming up here.
Okay, cool.
All right. I traded a few emails with this guy. You know him as the vocalist for the band Britney Fox.
All right.
I've been trading emails back and forth with Tommy Paris.
Oh, cool.
Tommy has a solo disc out, the Tommy Paris Band.
Right.
And he also works with Count 77 from the Counting Cars fame.
Right.
And anyway, I'm going to play a tune here from the Tommy Paris Band release, and this is probably one of my favorite tunes. This one is called 4 on the Floor. It's Tommy Paris Band exclusively here
on your classic metal show.